Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Friendster, Personal, SoundCloud, SoundClick, Instagram, and the gram. The gram. How do you on the gram? Listen, I got. I just got a question for for uh, for the Muslims, towards the Muslims, towards the well. Let me specify, because for one, there are black people who are Muslims. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, there are white people who are Muslims, and there are Asian people who are Muslims. So let's get this straight. The Muslim faith is the largest faith in the world right now. And it came out of the Middle Eastern region, with Muhammad and Ishmael and, so on and so forth. I do not know too much about it, and they get most of their readings out of the Quran, which is eerily similar to the Bible, but the Quran came 500 years after the Bible, uh, by the Prophet Muhammad. And so it's mostly practiced through Arab countries, Middle Eastern, and there are a lot of people who are in our country and coming into our country, which Donald Trump wants to stop, who are, one, Middle Eastern, but two, are of the Muslim faith. This is where it gets kind of murky right here because, okay, Donald Trump, you want to ban all Muslims from coming into the country. That's one. But see, Donald Trump has a very narrow view, even though it's a blanket statement. I'm saying this because I don't believe he actually knows of all the, or he can know all the so called registered uh, Muslims in the country. When I say registered, I mean when you are an active Muslim. I'm talking about Ramadan. I'm talking about going out and doing the praying and praying to the east and all that. When you are, that's what I mean by registering. I mean by you are actively dressed like a Muslim. Like my neighbor is African. She is of the Muslim faith. She comes out every day in hijab. Every day. Hijab, bam. Head covered, whole body covered, uh, hijab down. She's African. Straight up African. Her sister, not so much. Totally the opposite. Her sister, jeans, blouse, boom, I'm done. So that's what I'm saying. There are people who are practicing the faith, and they're obviously Muslim. And then there's people just, I'm a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? You're not really a Muslim. But for the people who are actively practicing the Muslim, they're the ones who are causing the most, I would say, fear, but they're the one who are looked at closer. So not so much fear, but they're the ones who you're looking at closer, especially if they come out of the Middle East. But not all Muslims come out of the Middle East. So I guess I'm asking this because Trump is going to be president if they don't get rid of him, because he's been making some blatant statements that's been hurting him, and now they're looking at another party to just come in and just get rid of him. They're looking at just all out getting rid of Trump because they realize he's got a lot of zeal, he's got a lot of passion, but he's a buffoon. He is. I mean, he actually said he can do what he wants to. This guy talks about sleeping with his daughter. I mean, there's just no way that he's going to get my respect. I mean, this guy can't even acknowledge the KKK is a, Christian sect that killed hundreds and thousands of millions of people, and they're still doing it. in the police force. And not all police are KKK, but a lot of them are, especially where I live. We've actually seen them. We've actually seen them with hoods on and a police outfit on. So anybody want to correct me on that, you can, go fly a kite. But I guess my question is, should Muslims leave the country? Now, I was also looking at a documentary recently of a group of white people living, I don't know if it's Michigan or whatever. But we know there's like 12 different types of militia. There's 12 different militia groups here, some small, some large. But this militia group was strictly against people who are Muslim faith. They are looking to shoot them. That's what they're looking to do. There was no bones about it. There was no doubt about it. They're like, Muslims, you're dying. That's it. They didn't say radical Muslims. They didn't say practicing Muslims. They didn't say Arab Muslims. They didn't say black, white Muslims, Asian Muslims, uh, Indian. A lot of people from India, Muslims, you know, even though the faith over there is mostly Hindu, but you have Muslims, Christians, and Hindus who are all over India. But yeah, Muslims. So, they just said Muslims. But of course, they're pinpointing Arab nations. And see, now I'm afraid for the Muslim community. Not so much black Muslims, but for the Arab Muslims. I think that these white people who are following Trump, especially, and who are in these militia groups, I think they're going to open fire on Muslims because of what just happened and their ignorance. And I'm hoping they don't. But I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think hate crime, kind of like we seen uh, with the church shooting down in Charleston and Dylan Roof. To me, he's a terrorist, even though he's a white dude. I don't know why we don't call white people terrorists because they're the biggest terrorist group ever, you know. But nonetheless, not all white people, but the white people who are terrorizing people, regardless if you have a badge on, a army outfit on, regardless, you're a terrorist. If you're out there killing people who did nothing to you, and then you're taking no punishment for what you're doing. You are terrorizing people. If you're hanging people over traffic tickets, then you are a terrorist. So Dylan Roof is a terrorist to me. The Boston uh, bombings, terrorist. The Batman incident, terrorist. Sandy Hook, terrorist. The Uber shooter a couple weeks ago, terrorist. These are all terrorist people. Timothy McVeigh, Terry Nichols, Columbine, in every shooting, every other school shooting, Virginia Tech, uh, all terrorists to me. But I think that the flames of hate are being fanned so bad by the media that I think these hate militia groups that already don't like anybody who's a Muslim. Look, they're already at war with black people. They hate black people. They're already killing us. They killed 900 of us last year. And that number, they're going to go past that number this year. And those people were killed by the police. And then there's the people, who were killed. Like there was a mother, a black woman, and her 13-year-old daughter hung. They found them hung in Detroit in their own house. We don't know who hung them. They said they had a suicide note, but I'm like, we don't know who hung those people. There's also bodies that were burned. There were witnesses to the Brown case, and they were witnesses against the Ferguson police. And pretty much, some guys got a hold of some of the witnesses and burned their bodies. Some young black men. So we are already at war. They're already killing and hanging us and shooting our children and running them over with motorcycles. But I'm telling you, people who are of the Muslim faith, who are especially Arab, who are obviously from the Middle East, you are in trouble. You're in big trouble. You don't have to take my word for it, but I guarantee you, this year, very soon, if not this week, you are going to see some backlash in a very violent, physical way. I'm hoping it doesn't happen. But the more they talk about this and the more that I see on TV or on my computer, and the more I'm listening to it, the more I fear for the Muslim community. It's your boy Tom Chill, I'm out.